How do you change the ad format?
Because we provide the data into the ad server, so the ad server knows how to change that based on our data. Exactly. So we're talking about
כן, זה מתנתק, איזה פחד.
so people can buy the data.
או,
Sounds like fun. All right.
yeah, it will be fun. אתה מבין שזה הפסיק לעבוד?
זה בעיה, זה מה שאני אומר לך, אני הייתי מאוד נזהר מלהציג אונליין, אני יש לי כלל, אני לא מציג דברים שצריך לאינטרנט. כי גם האינטרנט פה מסריח בלוס אנג'לס.
לא, אז אני הולך עכשיו
תעשה לי
את זה,
טובה,
אבל...
תעשה את זה לא ברשת, אל תעשה את זה.
לא, אז תשמע, לא עובד, אז אני יש לי...
זה לא נכון, זה נראה
כי אז אתה נראה יוץ,
זה נראה
כן.
יוץ. עזוב אותך, אתם חייבים לעשות איזה סרט של זה.
כן, יש לי סרט.
תעלה סרט של זה. אל תעשה
לא,
את
it didn't
צביקה,
work.
תעלה סרט. צביקה, תעלה סרט.
אתה מלחיץ אותי
אני אומר לך אמיתית, אני תמיד שזה אמור לעבוד זה משהו נתקע. אני לא מראה כלום אונליין, אנחנו עושים סרטים, עושים את זה.
למה אתה מלחיץ אותי עכשיו?
לא
אז
מלחיץ,
שלא
אתה יודע
ילך.
מה, שיעבור את מסך, הלוואי, אני מלחיץ.
תמיד זה ככה. תמיד זה ככה. תנסה, עכשיו תחפש. I don't need it. אוקיי. too.
So, I want to thank you all for enjoying the break and getting to know each other, and I especially want to thank the music that we've got here tonight, courtesy of Or Matthias. Can we have a round of applause for the beautiful, beautiful music that we've been listening to all day long? Or Matthias is related, yes, to our very first speaker today, Yossi Matthias, the head of Google's R&D Center, and Or just completed his studies at Juilliard. So we have quite a talent. What we're very happy to do this afternoon is take us on a tour now of media and entertainment. And as we know from the beauty of the Israel conference, we bring all sorts of talent here, from musicians, through technologists, through medical experts, through clean tech, people that are doing amazing things. And our theme here is incredible technologies and amazing companies. And indeed, that's what we've been able to present throughout the day. And I really want to thank you all for your stamina and your endurance and your energy. And we want to bring in all the folks outside, because we're about to hear some very interesting remarks from Google and from companies such as Innovid, Pier 39, Attract TV, Amabi. But before that, we have a little treat, because we are called the Israel Conference. And we are very fortunate, being in Los Angeles, that we have one of the Israel consulates here. And as such, we have the head of the office, the consul for economic affairs, who represents the 11 Western states and is based here in LA. Her office does tremendous work to bring companies together from Israel with US companies, and also to pull back the veil and show off what incredible work these companies are doing and how they can prosper and make other companies prosper. So I'd like to invite Sigal Admoni Ravid to make some comments to us as to what the economic mission for the State of Israel is doing. And thanks to the economic mission, they also sponsored our Fast and Cool, and we do have one more Fast and Cool for you, because those are very wonderful and appropriately so. Thank you very much, Sigal. Please come up and join us.
Thank you, Sharona. I've been here most of the day, talking with the people outside, and hearing the speakers here in the panels. And I have to say that I've heard a range of companies, whether they are startups or leaders, technology leaders in their field, all telling us one thing: take a good look at what's going on in Israel, because the next big thing, the next creative idea, the next disruptive technology might very well come from there. Now, after last year, we have proven that the Israeli economy is very resilient, hardly being affected by the economic crisis. We have now have a privilege to be a proud 31st member of the OECD club, which is a great thing. Yes, it's a great thing. Now, not only that, but we are also a proud member now of the MCSI. Now, I don't know how many of you know that, but it's a very important index for anyone that has to do with stock exchange, with the market. So these two clubs are telling us one thing: that we need to work harder in order to prove ourselves, in order to prove Israeli technology, and to prove the Israeli economy that we're really, and I think we are worthy of being a member of these clubs. Now, as you know, I mean, Israel is still, we have the largest number of companies outside of the United States listed in the NASDAQ, more than all of Europe combined, more than China, India, Korea, and Japan combined. The VC money that is pouring to Israel is still, per capita, more than 20 times the VC money that is pouring to Europe, and almost twice as the VC money per capita that is pouring to the United States, even today. And in these challenging days that we have now, and they are challenging, these couple of days, still the stock market in Israel today was rising. It closed going up. So I think that gives us a bit of a lesson about what's going on in Israel and something about our economy, which is a great thing. Now, what the Israeli Economic Mission is doing is trying to facilitate more and more cooperation between Israel and the United States, between Israeli VCs, companies, startups, and their counterparts here in Israel. Whether it is an email introduction or a delegation, an event that will help bringing these two communities together. Now, you might ask, why do we need the government to be involved in that? Well, it's very simple. You would not believe the questions that I'm still getting from a lot of people. Questions such as, how long does it take until we can get down to business with Israelis? Or, if he's coming with a t-shirt, am I to take offense? These kind of questions are still being asked, and it just goes to show that there is so much more that can be done between these two communities, and that is what we're here for. That is what we're doing here. Today we are very proud to be co-hosting the sessions. We have a lot of companies, startup companies that have been presented by now, and we have two more. Snappily is one of them, so please be with us and hear them as well. It is very important to say that what we do is clean tech, digital technology, digital media, and everything that has to do with biotechnology. And we'll be happy to partner with each and every one of you on these issues. Now, someone just caught me outside and asked me about the gas that Israel just discovered. I don't know how much you know about that, but a couple of days ago, they discovered a very large field of gas in the Mediterranean Sea, twice as large as the one that was discovered before in the Tamar drill that they did. Now, what does that mean in terms of the Israeli economy? I have to tell you, absolutely nothing. Because our natural resource is first and foremost one. Our brains, our creativity, our innovation. And that is what we're working on. And we'll be happy to work with each and every one of you on that. So if you haven't done it yet, I really invite you to join us and to start a conversation with the Startup Nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sigal. And we are continuing with our fast and cool track. As Moshe Lichtman from Microsoft noted a couple of hours ago, one of the innovations out of Israel a number of years ago was comparative shopping. Shopping.com was an Israeli company that was acquired eventually by eBay. And the innovation continues in that area with yet another very exciting company, WinBuyer. And for WinBuyer, we have Mickey Balin to present the company to us.
Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to present you WinBuyer. WinBuyer was founded in 2005 by me and Alon Weinberg, my co-founder. We basically provide today evaluated, where is the, oh, found it. Evaluated monetization platform for retailers. Basically what we do, we help maximize retail revenue, generating lift, and enhancing consumer confidence. What we actually do is maximizing the revenue deriving from retailers. And basically, if you look at retail traffic, you will see that it's a big of a mess. It's a lot of traffic coming to the sites, and not all the time they know how to monetize on that traffic. Only conversion rate is still flat, about 2 to 3%, and we actually help them do something with the traffic. The thing we do, if you look here as the page of Overstock, you will see that we put a small context of compare those to those other retailers. They will bring the other retailers' price into the retail product page. And by bringing that to the product page, we improve their lift by 5 to 10%. Actually, what that means is that retailer, by putting his competitors on their pages, is improving his productivity of this page. It maximizes the revenue that comes from that page. The average time spent on that page is growing by 10x factor. Why does it happen? In the beginning, when we came up to retailers about 2 years ago and say, well, let's put your competitors on your page, they said, hell no, why should I put my competitors on my page? Why should I send a link to my competitors from my product page? This is the most important page before the decision of the buying. What we found in the process, and the retailer mind starts to shift, is what we found was that by putting the competitors on your product page, you increase your confidence in buying process. Because comparative shopping in the beginning was thinking about having this comparative shopping as a started gate of the panel. What we know today is people compare shop by the end point of the panel before they make the decision they want a comparative shop. So by putting the comparative shopping experience on the product page, just a minute before they click to the add to cart, those retailers are increasing their conversion to sell rate and giving that confidence that is so important in the buying process. What else we can find out that we increase their monetization for the page, because the second effect that happens is a win-win situation inside this new ecosystem among retailers. If somebody clicks from Overstock to CD Universe, for instance, CD Universe will pay for that traffic back to Overstock through WinBuyer. By that, they're diverting traffic between retailers, and that's creating a monetization ecosystem among retailers sharing this value-added retail traffic that is right now ready to make a purchase. So I will show you another example. This is another client of ours. We have GameQuest. And with GameQuest, what we found that the bounce rate from the pages is gone down 15%. So what we have right now is an ecosystem of retailers that's sharing traffic among themselves on the point of purchase. So what is going on in the market? As I said in the beginning, we came to the market and said, we have this value-added monetization platform, and would you put your competitors on your product pages? And people said, hell no, we won't do. We are retailers, we want to sell, and we are having one question in mind, how we optimize our product pages. Today, we found out we have 250 retailers that are saying, one moment, we need to find out how we better have monetization of our product pages, how we monetize our traffic, how we find a way to better execute on that amount of traffic that's coming to our pages. So that paradigm shift of me being at an endpoint that retailers come to my store and making a purchase, but only 2% of them actually doing, to becoming a train station that people are going through their websites and looking for information about the product, and then being able to monetize on that traffic. This is the big shift that a lot of large retailers are going through. So basically, we have today more than 250 retailers, almost 300. And some of them are very well-known brands names like Sears Liquidation, Ritz Interactive, Overstock. All of them are becoming a part of this ecosystem of sharing traffic among retailers. I know that my time is up and the Lakers game is very soon, so.
Thank you very much, Ricky. Appreciate it. Thank you kindly.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you. All right, here. Now with that, I'd like to bring up our very own Yossi Vardi for the next phase on advertising.
Okay. I have the pleasure of introducing to you a rising star in the digital advertising and the digital world at large, Nikesh Arora. Nikesh is the president of global sales and operation in a company you will be hearing about called Google. Anybody who didn't hear about Google will hear about it very soon. Nikesh is with the company for 5.5 years. Before that, he was Chief Marketing Officer of T-Mobile in Europe. When he joined Google, he had 400 people reporting to him. Today, 8,000 people reports to him. Google had 0 revenues 8 years ago. Today, under the leadership of Nikesh, they arrived to $25 billion, and Nikesh refused to tell me what will be the number at 2020. He cannot make forward-looking statement without making a very big disclaimer. but he thinks it will be bigger than 25 billion. And really, it's as you already heard, Google has very warm relationships with Israel. I just can, as an anecdote, tell you that for years in Davos, every Friday, Shimon Peres, Sergey Brin, and Larry Page held a nightcap in Google in Davos, and everybody in Davos went to hear this old senior guy talking with these two young people. It was quite amazing. And it's really give me a great pleasure to invite Nikesh to share with us his view on the betting on destruction. Nikesh Aurora.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for being here. I have a speech, but I'm not going to give it. I think you guys spent enough time this morning hearing it. Well, that's another reason I won't give a speech. I put it up. I don't know, somebody give it. I'm not very good at technology. All right, now it works? Fantastic, wonderful. Okay, so again, thank you very much for having me here. I know I'm competing with great weather. There are more people outside than inside, I understand that. And I know there's a Lakers game soon. So considering we're a small group of people and we're all sort of tired at the end of the day, I'm going to turn this around the other way, right? I'm going to speak for 15 minutes after you ask me questions for 5 minutes. Okay? So I want you guys to start thinking and start engaging and tell me. I can talk about anything. I can talk about advertising. I can talk about Google. The only thing I cannot do is I cannot make forward-looking statements, as Yossi said, right? So about our business. I can make forward-looking statements about most other things, which you don't want to hear. Okay. Anybody want to ask a question? Go ahead. I start writing them down. Otherwise, you're too many. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Ask.
You can share your view about, we just saw the launch of Google TV.
All right. I'll repeat the question, so don't worry, because otherwise we'll need mics. Okay, go ahead. All right. He wants to know more about Google TV.
Yeah.
All right.
Assuming we saw the, we saw the announcement and the issues you had with Bluetooth, but it was really impressive, roadmap for the future of TV. How fast do you see the change happening? What do you see Google's role, especially in your background in the advertising as an advertiser? How do you see your role in this new concept of connected TV? It's a big shift in the industry, and a lot of people are worried about it.
Okay, we've got to move this fast because I've got 20 minutes. If you ask me a 5-minute question, then 4 of you will finish the time. All right.
Is it a concern to you that Google makes more money on search than other stuff?
When was the last time you were concerned when you make more money? But okay, I'll write your question down.
Than other stuff.
Okay, good.
Two quick ones. One is your position on home streaming of music versus the music industry's less than happy face about it.
What was the first part?
Music, streaming your own music. You just announced it. Streaming your own music.
I just didn't understand your question. Okay, yeah. Streaming music versus unhappiness
of the music industry. And the second is, how do you entice people like me who has millions of impressions per day on mobile advertising to give the traffic to you because your eCPM is the lowest?
Low CPM, why would I come to you? Got it. It's a very specific question, man. All right. Okay, all right. I'm going to have a hard time stitching this together, but we'll try. That's okay. At least people are awake, which is good.
Oh, I want to.
All right. You have a question in the back. You have a mic in your hand.
Hello. Yeah, it seems to be the relationship between Apple and Google is shaping up. Oh, I'm right here.
Okay, you're asking the question. Okay, go.
No, I'm right here.
Yes.
The relationship between Apple and Google is seeming to be Apple Universe is a, sort of a closed universe based on Apple, and you get all your hardware and software through them, whereas Google Universe can be a more open universe, it seems. Ideologically, it seems to be one versus the other. Where do you stand on that, and why?
Okay. All right. Wow, that's an interesting question. Yes, you'll see.
What is the next conference you are going to hand out afterwards? I want to be there.
You mean, I thought you would have asked for Google TVs by now. It's like they're bigger. Okay.
So we just heard a great panel around innovation in healthcare, and we all know it's a big area where we can help with technology. Can you share some of the R&D investments or thoughts that Google will have to help in that space, healthcare?
Okay. All right.
Okay, one more back there.
All right.
Will you discuss, hello? Hi, will you talk about Google's future in China, if there will be any?
I can't know who asked the question. Oh, got it. All right, okay. There's like 4 people pointing like this. I don't know if it's like current, future, or past. Got it.
Will you talk
So
about...
you want to talk about China's future or Google's future in China?
Both.
Got it. I can't talk about it. Okay, got it. This could get really fun. I don't have to speak at all. We can just like do this back and forth thing. Okay. Given the questions, I want really less time to speak. These are hard questions. Okay.
Google has bought at least one video conferencing platform. Do you see video conferencing being tied into, for example, your Android platform for phones in the future?
The return of the 2-camera device, right?
Right, right.
I remember I had one like 5 years ago. Okay.
So you're in Los Angeles at a conference.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people here who are entrepreneurs in the entertainment space. And they're wondering with the people, with the way technological companies have used content, whether it's becoming a commodity, and how Google likes to work with content creators and content owners into the future, and whether or not there is a future with Google with content owners.
Got it? That's a good question. So that looks like it gets more than one question. I can get more votes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, how is Google positioning itself for here?
Got it, okay.
How is Google positioning itself for search in smaller and smaller form factors?
Search in smaller and smaller form factors, yes. Okay. Okay, I'll give you one or two last questions, and I think it's about time to start answering them. Otherwise, you guys won't.
Hi.
Okay.
I have a question on books and the development of some kind of platform-neutral way to do ebooks.
Okay, all right, good. So let me try and answer these, and then you guys obviously will be thinking of more as I answer, and then I'll miss probably answering some of them because I don't know the answer or I'll be scared to answer it, then you can repeat, okay? All right, okay, let's talk about this. Well, first of all, you know, Yossi asked me to come to the conference. I just got an email, and I was not doing anything for these 2 hours, so I said I'll come and speak. So he was very kind to let me come here. But part of the reason I'm also here is because on my last trip to Israel, I had a phenomenal time. You know, I saw, there was so much like, I connected because both from an entrepreneurial perspective and also from a cultural perspective. I come from India. I found a lot of similarities between the people there. And our country had their Mir brand is doing a fantastic job over there. So he showed me a good time, and I had a great time meeting a bunch of people from Israel. So I'm here because of that. I'm not here because Google wants to come make a statement. I'm just here because I enjoyed being in your country, and I enjoy the entrepreneurial spirit that you guys enjoy. So I don't know after this presentation whether you invite me back or not, but we'll see. We'll see where that happens. So let's talk broadly first, right? If you think about where we've come in the last 10 years, we have a tendency to overestimate the short term and underestimate the long term. If you look at anything you do, typically, especially happens in companies, you have young project managers, they'll tell you, I'll get this done by the end of the next 12 months, right? There are a lot of plans, something we launched in 12 months, and you find out 12 months later that it hasn't been done. People overestimate. But then, if I turn around and ask you, do you think in 10 years, big TVs with big bulky stuff in the back are going to be extinct or not? You're like, oh, no way in hell, right? 3 years, flat screens. Best Buy stopped selling other TVs, right? I remember moving to London 10 years ago. I just bought 3 VCRs. I moved from Boston to London. Just bought 3 VCRs. And I end up there, and the smart sales guy said, why didn't you buy a DVD player? I'm like, oh my God, okay, I'll buy a DVD player. And I used to go to my local video store, and there was usually a small rack in a corner where I could get DVDs, and everything else was videos, right? I just felt like an idiot. 4 years later, there were no videotapes in that store. So it's very interesting. We always end up underestimating the long term in 10 years. And that makes us to cling on to legacy. Right? So you sit down and say, okay, if this is not going to go away in 10 years, I can cling on to legacy. Is that a digital camera? You're a professional photographer. Okay, good. So this is the breed of people who were the last ones to leave SLRs, right? Remember that? When digital cameras came around, we all were carrying digital cameras, and people say, oh my God, that's a crappy piece of whatever, right? You really need a big camera which has those reels, and you take pictures and you go. Now you see these guys click, he looks at the picture, deletes, clicks, right? And when they convert, that means it's over. You know, those cameras are dead. When the last bastion is the professional guys. So if you think about in that context, we are going to go through a tremendous technological revolution bigger than any revolution we've seen in our times. And if you believe that there was airplanes, electricity, steam engines, and all this wonderful stuff, automobiles, this is going to be bigger than anything we've ever seen. Why do I believe that? If you go back and look 10 years ago when Google started, 10 years ago I used to work in the telecom industry. There were 300 million people connected to the internet. 300 to 400 million people, right? 70, 80 million people in broadband. Today the number is 1.4 billion, right? 1.4 billion people connected to the internet, 400 to 500 million in broadband. I travel around the world with my laptop expecting to find connectivity in the Western world and even various parts of Asia. Don't you all do that? You carry your laptop, right? Every one of you carries your laptop, your iPhones, your Android devices. You expect to get connectivity wherever you are. That sort of becomes second nature. That is driving phenomenal change. It is going to change the way we deal with information. It is going to change the way we deal with communication. It is going to change the way we deal with distribution, right? It is going to create global companies of scale in matter of years. Go back and think. Google didn't exist 11 years ago, right? Amazon, how long has it been around? YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. The time continues to shorten. We create large, big companies on a global scale because the interesting thing is 1.4 billion people which are connected to the internet represent what's the number, about 20% of the world's population, roughly? 20, 25%? It represents 90% of the world's GDP. Right? Anybody who can spend money is connected to the web. So if you're going to start a company, it's a reasonable population to target, 1.4 billion people, isn't it? It's much better than starting a store in, I don't know, whatever county we're in Los Angeles, right? You have a limited population, but you can start an internet company with 1.4 billion people as your target, and suddenly you're talking in millions and not in tens or hundreds of thousands. So if you believe that, if you believe we're going to live in a very digital future, I think it's going to impact every aspect of our life. It changes the way we consume information. It changes the way we deal with entertainment or content. It changes the way we deal with communication. And you guys asked the question, and now I'm going to start answering questions, right? Because I need to give you this context. If you believe that, my belief is in another 10 years, and Yossi asked the question in 10 years, what's going to happen? My belief in 10 years, you could be dealing with 10 billion mobile devices, right? It could be 10 billion. We're at 3 or 4 billion now. Every Kindle, every iPad, every refrigerator, everything else could have a mobile connection in there. There's no requirement that I must have a chip in my phone, right? You can have chips in various sorts of electronic devices. Could be. You get 5 billion people connected to the internet. I could have half of them connected on broadband. We could. All these things could happen in 10 years from now. If you believe that's the future we're going to live in, it's an interesting factor I found out. Does anyone know, all of you, many of your technologies, you know what an exabyte is? Come on. No, it's a measure of storage, right? Roughly an exabyte is about 40,000 hours of video. For you guys in LA, in the entertainment, it's 40,000 hours of video, roughly, right? It's got many zeros in it. And until 2005, 5 exabytes of information were created in the world, right? Now, we create 5 exabytes every 3 to 5 days. 3 to 5 days. Just imagine the information problem we're going to have. Like, somebody talked about content. Content has tremendous value, but if you're creating 5 exabytes every 2 to 5 days, who the hell is going to consume it? Right? They actually had to invent a new word called zettabyte. They did. They actually came with a new word. It was like a few months ago, they had to invent a new word called a zettabyte, which is 1,000 exabytes. Because they believe there'll be about 50 zettabytes by the time 10 years go by. So there's so much content to be had, right? How do we deal with that? And if you believe that, I think in 10 years from now, it is not unreasonable that the majority of us will be consuming most of our content by digital means. Fair? How many people believe in 10 years from now we'll be consuming content digitally? Majority of our content. Great. Now that you believe that, tell me the future of current content in that context 10 years from now. What's going to happen to newspapers? What's going to happen to the television broadcast networks? What's going to happen to radio? What's going to happen? Now, come on, somebody said something, go on. Guys, you're supposed to engage, you got to work with me on this one. Or is it comedy routines don't work if the audience doesn't engage? Sorry?
Radio will continue its segment of social discourse.
Aha.
Talk ear to ear.
This is the generation. Is that transition generations have a hard time dealing with edge cases, right? Our children have a different view. Our children do not, I don't know, I have a 12-year-old girl. She hasn't read a newspaper in a long time, and I can't get her to read the newspaper. Every time I try and give her a hard time saying, do you know? Yeah, Dad, I know about the oil spill. I don't know how she gets it. I don't want to know. But she knows about the oil spill. You're going to say something. Oh, no, this is not a Google sales pitch. This is not a Google sales pitch. I'm actually trying to make a different point. I don't think premium content that we see on TV is going to be dead. I think the current mechanism for distribution is going to change. I don't think the news content is going to be dead. I think the way we consume it and the way it's going to be delivered is going to change. Right? I don't think audio content is going to be dead. It's going to be consumed differently. But what it is going to do, it is going to change the entire value chain from discovery of content all the way till delivery of content. You don't need to go sit in a pub or bar in Texas and figure out and listen to somebody sing and say, oh my God, this is a cool singer, let's sign them up. Maybe they're going to become a star in the future. You go on YouTube, you can see people singing, right? Some people have 5 million people watching them, some people have 0. Let me tell you, you probably have a better shot at signing the 5 million people person than the 0. You don't need to be a really smart music person to figure that out. So it's going to change the entire value chain from discovery till delivery. Now, I don't know what that means, what that bodes for entertainment industry in LA. I think premium content always has value, right? We turn on our television. I got 500 channels on my television. I barely recognize some things on it, and most of it I don't watch, right? Even in that, there is a tiering of good content and bad content. So there is going to be value for premium content. It's just a question of how do you create the discovery in the future? How do you create the delivery in the future? If you believe that, since we're talking about advertising soon, and by the way, somebody raise your hand and tell me when my 20 minutes are up, because I can shut up anytime. Is that your hand telling me? Am I done?
You have 2 more minutes and then we're going to go to panel.
Oh, sure. Okay, I have 2 more minutes. Sorry, guys. I could do this for hours, so I'm sorry. I'll come to Israel and do it. Although I was told by Yossi, part of the cultural thing which is I share with India, we have no concept of time. So I could just keep speaking. You guys can vote with your feet. You can leave the room. I won't be offended. Okay? Okay, I'll try and keep it short. So I'll try and do this very quickly. If you believe that, if you believe most of our content is going to be consumed digitally, I believe most advertising has to move to digital means. Today, the advertising industry around the world is $500 billion. Roughly 60, 70 billion is on the web. If you believe that most of the content consumption is going to happen in the future by digital means, most advertising has to become digital, which I think is a good setup for my friends who are going to come and join me in the panel. But before I do that, I'm just going to make sure I run through the answers over there, right? Somebody asked the question on Google TV, what's the significance of Google TV, right? The significance of Google TV and the whole notion of open standards is we have to go away from closed systems to open systems. It's about consumer choice. And by the way, consumers always find a way of choosing an open system. All of us do. It's very rare that we stay captive in a closed system unless the user experience is so fantastic that we stay captive. Otherwise, we go unleash ourselves to open systems. I consume news on the web because I can get 5,000 sources and I can get what my news is. I have sort of untethered myself from my newspaper. So we will find a way of untethering ourselves. And all Google TV is doing is providing a platform where consumers can consume directly from the broadcast network, from the web, or from other ways of digital delivery, right? It sort of is in line with somebody's question on Apple and Google. We believe in open systems because open systems allow, and here's an interesting factoid. We announced that we're selling 100,000 Android devices a day, which roughly competes with the iPhone. And if you look at public representations, it sort of matches. We started 18 months later. The value of having an open strategy is you can have 20 other players use your operating system, put out phones out there. You have 20 partners now who are working with you on developing that ecosystem around the world. That larger ecosystem allows one to create more players who can make money out of it. Closed systems create tremendous value for the owner of the closed system. They're successful. And again, I'm not advocating one versus the other. I'm just highlighting the differences of the two. We have a philosophy of being an open system. We will be an open system. Everything that we do, whether it's Android, whether it's Chrome, whether it's Google TV. Okay. Some of the questions are very specific on why would you have a crappy CPM on mobile, and we can take that offline. Yeah, I think, again, the whole books debate, again, is the same thing. We want to have an open system from an e-reader perspective because many people can look at it. Last question, somebody, which I'll answer, and then I'll move to the panel. So the panelists get ready. You guys are going to have like 3 minutes each. I'm going to expand your time by 50%. I gave you an extra minute because I think I'm going to take 2 more minutes, right? So the last question was Google in China. I think it's a longer conversation, but we've said it many times. We went into the market thinking we could create more openness, more ability for people to consume information. We realized after 4 or 5 years of being there that we want not to be restricted in terms of what we offer as services, and we've decided to serve that market from Hong Kong. How that pans out depends on how things evolve in that market, but that is where we are right now. Okay, I know it's been quick and abrupt, but I hope you enjoyed it. Let me invite the panelists to come on stage. We'll talk about advertising more.
We have a feature here called Fast and Cool.
Okay.
And our last Fast and Cool is...
You guys can come up. Come up.
So I'm going to ask us to take, it's a 5-minute
okay.
element with the panelists.
It's like India. Oh, we're just adjusting the schedule, move off stage. Somebody else is going to show you. Okay, we're all coming on stage.
All right. Last Fast and Cool for the day, right? So a little bit story about this one. A little story. A few years ago, I was appointed a CEO of a startup company, and one of my assignments was to try to package that company and to sell it. And I had a good contact at a company named Avaya. Those of you remember those days and those names. And that gentleman happened to be an Israeli, ex-Israeli. His name is Aviv, and his last name is Aviv Ron, right? And we had good meetings, a set of meetings. We continued our relationships. I never sold that company to Avaya, but we maintained a relationship. Since then, Aviv relocated back to Israel. We met a number of times, and one of those times, we met with Aviv's wife, which has impressed me as a very talented, intelligent, and capable entrepreneur. And just a year or so later, I received an email from the new CEO of a cool company named Snappily that I've been watching for some time now. And guess who was the CEO who contacted me? Her name was Vered, and her last name was Ron, and she was Aviv's husband, and I'm happy to welcome you here. Please.
Thank you, Izhar, for the lovely introduction. I guess, whoops. So my name is Vered, and I'm the CEO of Snappily.com. We do 3D online and 3D printing, and basically I'm here to talk about 3D. So 3D is really here to stay. One of the interesting things about 3D is that 2010 is no doubt the year of 3D. What I'd like you to do now is, since I'm going to be talking about 3D, is put on your special glasses. You're going to find the glasses under your seat. Since I'm talking about 3D, that's the only way to see it. Actually, I'm kidding. Luckily for you, our company has patents on showing 3D without needing glasses. So, as you know, this year, 3D movies comprised 1/3 of the box office. And we're talking only about four movies. So the problem is, once you leave the theater, 3D experience is no longer with you. And one of the challenges is, how do you make the 3D experience compelling when you're no longer in the theater? How do you make it compelling so that you're leveraging the internet and the social networks? How do you extend the 3D brand into the physical world? And of course, how do you monetize your digital 3D assets? So what you see now is a Facebook fan page for, whoops, it's going faster than I'm talking. A Facebook fan page for Alice in Wonderland. And our question is, why not make it more compelling? Why not add the illusion of 3D to the site? And we can take it also to the next stage. What I want to talk about today is a case study that we did with Sony Pictures, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and Not for Israelis. Who knows what the movie was called in Hebrew? It's Raining Falafel. So what we did for them, we were on their homepage, and they wanted to create a viral campaign. This is the 3D widget we created for them. You can choose different backgrounds, put inside different characters, enter all kinds of props from the movie, and then upload your own picture. The result is a postcard that you could have printed to your own home, printed and shipped to your own home. And of course, the the 3D preview allows you to get a really cool feeling of the brand in 3D. What was interesting was that not only did many thousands of people share this, print this card, but of those that printed it, 12% shared it on Facebook and on other social networks. In turn, many thousands of people, tens of thousands of people, shared it on their Facebook pages, and the resulting hundreds of thousands of people came back to the Sony site. So of course, Sony expected this campaign to last for a while, but in 7 days we ran out of all the cards. A little bit about our company. We were founded in 2002 under the name of Humanize Technologies. Our majority shareholder is Benny Landa, the founder of Indigo, which he sold to HP for almost $1 billion. And we're the world leader in printing, designing, creating, displaying 3D. So we do only 3D. And we're happy that Avatar's success led to the fact that people are finally listening to us. Snappily.com is our retail brand. We're basically like Shutterfly.com or like Hallmark.com. Unlike them, we also have an open API that we share with partners, and we basically make money off of our 3D, our digital 3D, and off of every card that we print. You can see some of the different effects. Our vision is to dominate the 3D personalized printed world. So no matter the device, a TV, a mobile phone, we want to be there, help you customize the content, and help you print it. And if you want to be part of our vision, whether as a partner, and I see some potential partners over here, or as an investor, we just finished an internal round and we're going to start an external round soon, then let me know. We're right outside over here. Thank you.
Okay, so which way do we want to go? This way? You already got to speak. Yeah. Are you ready?
I hope so.
Okay, I don't know. Who's got your laptop ready? You guys have some slides and stuff.
I have my laptop here.
All right, let's go do it. All right, you get 3 minutes. You guys just tell him when he's done.
Okay.
Right, let's go.
You know what? Just I'm doing something they told me not to do, and it's doing a live demo through my cellular modem. But we'll see if it works. Okay, start. Recall the video. The cable disconnect here. Okay, cool. My name is Tzvika Netter. I'm one of the co-founders of Innovid. What we do in Innovid, we started 3 years ago out of Israel. Our headquarters is now in New York. We wanted to develop a disruptive technology for video. So besides, as you mentioned, not just the video, the digital revolution, not just be for distribution and exploration, but to actually change the media itself, the format itself. Because the internet is very dynamic and interactive. Video is very static and linear. So we wanted to open it up. We developed a platform that enables you, creative people, to create interactive video and measure it and deliver it. I'll show you a short demo. And we came up with this demo a year ago, and really kind of to open people's mind, what do we mean by interactive video? So this is a regular video feed. Now, as soon as I hit the button here, our server pushes in real time the Pong game, you know, the classical 80s Pong game, into the video. So this is me playing Pong against the Innovid server in real time. So this is meshed up in real time into the room in 3D, and there's full interactivity into the video. Of course, I can make it go away and come back, and there was no commercial application for this, of course, as a classical tech company. We went into the market, started talking to publishers and advertisers to see how we can use this type of technology to create interactivity in video. You know, in this example, you can keep on changing the video in real time and create different personalized experiences. So it took us a while until we came up with a product that we call iRoll, which is the interactive pre-roll. Basically what we did, we were looking for a scalable product, and today, you know, the internet is very innovative and the agencies are very innovative. What they're doing is basically they're taking TV advertising, put it on the web and say, okay, this is now video advertising on the web. There was no disruptive, there's no revolution using the digital. Basically they play the TV spots on the web, on YouTube or NBC. But basically what we wanted to do is